Hi there, welcome to the latest episode of my 10-minute moan. And the topic of this 10-minute moan is the surprising resignation of SNP's Chief Executive Officer and the amazingly quick replacement in an interim basis, they say, of the new CEO, who's already courted much concerns to those normal-minded people in Scotland who still quite like the SNP. So the story goes, yesterday, the Murray Foot guy who had been the CEO for 14 months, this was a guy who used to be the head of their PR department. He left that role and discussed when they lied to him about the numbers of members a while back. And he went to the papers who approached him and said, look, we believe your membership's dropped. I think it was below the 100,000 mark. He spoke to the party, was obviously told it was a lot of nonsense, told the world press, a lot of nonsense, and a few weeks later, the number came out because they were going through a leadership campaign. And Kate Forbes and who's the other one? It's terrible. There was two women and Hamza were going for the leadership, and they demanded to know the numbers. And it came out that the paper was right. So Murray Foot left, a wee bit of a huff, and then he came back a few months later to be the chief executive because the one before him got arrested for potential alleged embezzlement. It was part of the branch for him. So that was two of the recent CEOs, because before that we had Morrell and Colin Beattie, CEOs of the SNP, two of whom had been arrested, and one of them's since been charged, awaiting the prosecution service to tell us whether he's going to court or not. So it's quite a poison chalice, this job. So yesterday, we woke up at 9 o'clock to which appeared to be a scheduled post on Twitter by Murray Foot, the current CEO, telling everybody he was stepping down. And his statement said, I have today confirmed my intentions to step down as chief executive of the SNP. The party's recently embarked on a substantial process of internal reorganisation, blah, 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 saying that circumstances, I concluded it would be in my best interests and the best interests of the party if I stepped down to give my replacement time and space to mould and develop these changes in a manner they deem appropriate prior to the next Holyrood elections. And he says, I offer the very best wishes to my successor and colleagues in the party. I will always be grateful and privileged holding this post for the past 14 months, and I'll remain in the post for the time being to assist the transition to this new CEO. Key one there, I will remain in post for the time being to assist with the transition of a new CEO. Well, that didn't even last a day, because they've announced a new interim CEO. And this one is a bit of a belter. This one is Carol Beattie. I don't believe related to Colin Beattie, but no less controversial. Carol Beattie was until recently the leader of Stirling Council, one of the top civil service jobs in her area, which are meant to remain impartial. And she went a transition from this non-partisan role. Carol Beattie previously served as the chief executive of Stirling Council, a position that traditionally requires political neutrality. Her quick transition from this role to running as an SNP candidate in the recent Falkirk South by-election made people wonder how non-partisan she was. And one of the reasons, not only the controversy with being transitioning, because when she told people she was resigning as the chief executive of Stirling Council, she said that it was to pursue roles in private enterprise. And then, as I said recently, the Falkirk South MSP went to Parliament in Westminster after general election, and they held a by-election for the Holyrood seat that became vacant, and Carol Beattie was put up as the candidate. But however, that was enough controversy for one person, but she'd already courted controversy while she was in her role in the government and the local government. Before appointment with SNP, Carol Beattie had shared or endorsed social media posts that were considered controversial, particularly those critical of the monarchy. Now, I need to remind you at this point, the SNP state that they wish an independent Scotland where the monarchy would still be head of the country. Carol Beattie doesn't think so, because she has posted things alluding to the French solution for the monarchy, which is when they cut their heads off during the French Revolution, she was referring to there. And when this was during the time that Princess of Wales was battling cancer, which was seen by many as insensitive and offensive. Her social media activity led to public outcry, and she was criticised for divisive rhetoric, especially inappropriate for someone aiming later for public office. And as I said, the by-election results, she lost that by-election, so she's left her role in public office to pursue her own politics with SNP. She failed at the by-election, and today gets made the interim chief executive of the SNP. And it's all rather smelly, isn't it? So lower controversies surrounding Carol Beattie are not directly financial or legal, like her predecessors in the SNP leadership, but rather revolve around ethical social media and her normal day-to-day conduct. Her transition into politics is a bit tainted already. Her involvement in the SNP during a period marked by significant internal and public scrutiny adds another layer to the ongoing narrative of leadership, transparency, and the public perception of the SNP. It's absolutely, the two things are a bit smelly, because the fact that she left this probably highly and handsomely paid job with Stirling Council, which I keep referring back to as she's meant to be non-partisan as a civil servant, and indeed the top civil servant in her area. I think the closeness and the quickness that she left that role, jumped onto the SNP bandwagon gravy train, failed in an MSP role, and all of a sudden, as soon as a highly paid, high-level job becomes available, Carol's in. I don't think many people would be wrong in suggesting that this was possibly a plan all along, and makes you wonder, while she was leading Stirling Council, how long she had been totally partisan towards the SNP. And it leads the question, how many are there? How many people out there who are in top civil servant roles, who should be non-partisan and should be totally neutral in politics, aren't? As Carol Beattie certainly isn't. There's not a chance that you can go from having nothing to do with a party to be put in for one of the big by-election places that, you know, they could have won, and after failing in that process, suddenly Murray Foot puts out a statement 24 hours ago that he's stepping down. But in his words, he's more than happy to look after the incoming CEO, and SNP seem to have said, no thanks Murray, go now, we've already got a woman that we want to do that very thing. And it remains to be seen if whether she becomes the permanent CEO of the SNP, or indeed it is a temporary role. But I doubt it. Watch this space. If you enjoyed the video, give me a thumbs up. If you've not already done so, hit the subscribe button please, and the notifications bell. Leave some comments below, let me know what you think of the topic and the video. But most importantly of all, unless you're SNP or the ever reducing number of cult members, not you, but
everyone else, have a great day. Cheerio, bye now.